Yashodanandana Pratyajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Pratyajana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Prabhupada ki, Premananda. Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Chaiva Narottamam Deving Sarasating Vyasam Ito Jayamudiriye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should first offer our respectful obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and to Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschakari Satarine Prabhupada ki! Oh. So this is continuing in the second canto, chapter 2, The Lord in the Heart. And it's text 23. So, let's see this. So, Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta Bahishtralokya Pavanantar Atmanam Bahistrilokya Pavantar Atmanam Bahistrilokya Pavantar Atmanam Na Karmabis Tam Katim Apnuvante Karmabis Tam Katim Apnuvante Vidya Tapo Yoga Samadhi Bhajam Vidya Tapo Yoga Samadhi Bhajam Vidya Tapo Yoga Samadhi Bhajam Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta Bahistrilokya Bhavanta Atmanam Nakarma Vistam Gatim Apnuvante Vidya Tapo Yoga Samadhi Bhajam Yogeshwaranam Kitim Ahoranta Bahistrilokya Bhavanta Atmanam Nakamabhistam Gatim Apnuvante Vidya Tapo Yoga Samadhi Bhajam I think it's one more time. Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta Bahistrilokya Bhavanta Atmanam Nakamabhistam Gatim Apnuvanti Nakamabhistam Gatim Apnuvanti Vijatapo Yoga Samadhi Bhajam Vijatapo Yoga Samadhi Bhajam. Someone else?
Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta
Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta Bahistrilokya Bhavananta Atmanam
Nakamabhistam Gatim Apnuvanti
Nakamabhistam Gatim Apnuvanti
Vidyatapo Yoga Samadhi Bhajam
Vijatapo Yoga Samadhi Bhajam
Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta
Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta
Bahistrilokya
Nakamabhistam Gatim Apnuvanti
Nakamabhistam Gatim
Vidyatapo Yoga Samadhi Bhajam
Anyone else? The men? Ladies?
Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta
Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta
Bahistrilokya Bhavananta Atmanam
Bahistrilokya Bhavananta
Nakamabhistam Gatim Apnuvanti
Nakamabhistam Gatim
Yogeshwaranam Yoga Samadhi Bhajam.
Anyone else?
Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta.
Yogeshwaranam Gatim Ahoranta Bahistrilokya Bhavanta Nakamabhistam Gatim Vidyatapo Yoga Samadhi Bhajam.
Okay then, word for word. Yoga Ishwaranam
Yoga Ishwaranam
of the great saints and devotees.
of the great saints and devotees.
Gatim
Gatim
destination. Ahu
Ahu
it is said.
it is said
Anta
Anta
within.
within
Bahi
Ahi
without.
without
Trilokya
Trilokya
of the three planetary systems.
of the three planetary systems.
Pavana Anta
Bhavananta
within the air.
within the air.
Atmanam of
Atmanam
the subtle body.
of the subtle body.
Na
Never.
karma be
Karma be
by fruit of activities.
by fruit of activity.
Tam
That.
Gatim
Gatim speed.
Apnuvanti
Adunanti achieve.
Vidya
Vidya
devotional service.
Tapa
Tapa austerity.
austerity.
Yoga mystic power. Samadhi knowledge. Bhajam
Bhajam
of those who entertain
of those who entertain.
Interesting. So I'll read the English translation and we'll repeat it. The Transcendentalists are concerned with the spiritual body. As such, the strength of their devotional service, austerities, mystic power, and transcendental knowledge, their movements are unrestricted within and beyond the material worlds. The prudent workers or the gross materialists can never move in such an unrestricted manner. Now you would please repeat. The Transcendentalists are concerned with the spiritual body. As such, by the strength of their devotional service, austerities, mystic power, and transcendental knowledge, their movements are unrestricted. Within and beyond the material worlds. The fruit of workers, or the gross materialists, can never move in such an unrestricted manner. The Transcendentalists are concerned with the spiritual body. As such, by the strength of their devotional service and austerities, mystic power, and transcendental knowledge, their movements are unrestricted within and beyond the material worlds. The fruit of workers, or the gross materialists, can never move in such an unrestricted manner. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Srila Prabhupada.
The materialistic scientists' endeavor to reach other planets by mechanical vehicles is only a futile attempt. One can, however, reach heavenly planets by virtuous activities. But one can never expect to go beyond Svarga or Janaloka by such mechanical or materialistic activities, either gross or subtle. The Transcendentalists, who have nothing to do with the gross material body, can move anywhere within or beyond the material worlds. Within the material worlds, they move in the planetary systems of Mahar, Janas, Tapas, and Satyaloka. Satyaloka is Brahmaloka. And beyond the material worlds, they can move in the Vaikunthas as unrestricted spacemen. Narada Muni is one of the examples of such spaceman, and Durvasa Muni is one such mystic. So there's a distinction between Narada Muni and Durvasa Muni. By the strength of devotional service, austerities, mystic powers, and transcendental knowledge, everyone can move like Narada Muni or Durvasa Muni. It is said that Durvasa Muni traveled throughout the entirety of material space and part of the spiritual space within 1 year only. The speed of the Transcendentalists can never be attained by the gross or subtle materialists. Can anybody remember why he was traveling all over?
He was trying to escape
Yeah.
Sudarshan Chakra.
Sudarshan Chakra, right. Don't get a Vaishnava. That's dangerous business. So, what's interesting here is that it's when we see their attempts to go to places like the moon, wherever they went, who knows, maybe they went to somewhere, but they bring more gross material energy. Whereas what we've been hearing here is that the gross material energy is an obstacle to achieving these heavenly realms, and then what to speak of the spiritual world. There's a process for refining the soul to gradually eliminating the external coverings and becoming more and more subtle, more and more refined. And then on doing that, when we achieving these more elevated planets in the universe, there's more and more refined, subtle pleasures. Like we used to always use this expression in the 70s and 80s about subtle sex life. Do you remember what those three things are?
Mm-hmm.
Profit, fame,
adoration,
and adoration.
and
We don't use it
distinction.
as much as we used to. But it's still there. There's profit, fame, and adoration. There's desire for that. But here, what we're talking about is, when you think of, if you know this, the science of the soul, the science coming from the ancients, from the original Supreme Personality of Godhead through all these incredibly advanced transcendentalists, down to us, these mere sort of mortals, so to speak, that to achieve a heavenly planet, you need to be getting rid of your baggage. And they come fully equipped with these incredible spacesuits, and they're bouncing around with big heavy shoes to keep them down so they don't float away into the ether or the air, whatever it is, the space. This big, huge rocket shooting off. It's completely contrary to what is being taught here by the disciplic succession. We're actually supposed to be relieving ourselves of the baggage, of all the external material coverings. And, actually I just want sort of along these lines, in a class that Sri Devi Prabhu gave, or Mataji, she was mentioning about diseases being psychosomatic. And I'm sure there's truth to that. I'm positive of that. But I also know things like, if you have skin cancer, you've been in the sun too long. There's other factors as well. But I would put it to all of us that the material body is a symptom of a psychosomatic disease of the soul. It is a cancer on the soul. Whatever type of material body one has, the more covered. And actually what happens is, in this evolutionary process, which is described in the Padma Purana, and Prabhupada said that Darwin had studied the Padma Purana and used that as the basis of his theory for evolution. But he leaves out the consciousness of the soul, the anti-material energy. You're more and more covered, and then finally, in the human form of life, you're transparent enough that you can actually, uncovered enough so that you can actually have the ability to inquire, well, what is this place? Where am I? Why am I here? Why is there suffering? The body, in the Prashadam song, the English translation, I believe, I was confirming this morning with another devotee, because I haven't said it in a while. The material body is a network of senses leading to death. And of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and difficult to control. The material body is dead. It is already dead. There's actually a psychological disease right now that's been recently recognized in the last, 10 years. That there are people that feel that they're trapped inside of a dead body. It's a very serious new disease, or certain limbs of their body don't belong to them. And they want them amputated. So the body itself, this material body, we get it because we're diseased. And because we get this because we're diseased, we experience birth, disease, old age, and death. But the spiritual body, so it's only misery. That's all we get. It appears when you're young, you're nice and strong and healthy and beautiful. Everything is great. And you keep running after this and running after that. It looks like there's happiness over there. I think that person has it. Let me go get it from him or her. I see someone's happy. Oh, I gotta take their happiness. I gotta be like them, or I gotta take it from them. That's the nature of the material world. Because we're in this material world, the disease is envy. We're envious. So the spiritual world, we're not envious. We're non-envious. And this process is for purifying us of that And so when we see someone has a very great talent or something like that, that envy is a symptom of our disease. It also, you could also say, you're envious of Krishna, because Krishna says, I am the ability in man or woman. I am the intelligence of the intelligence. If I see someone more intelligent, if I see someone who has some talent for singing or this or that, then, or they have some wealth or some opulence, and I'm envious of it, you're envious of Krishna. I mean, I'm envious of Krishna. I'm not talking you, me. I'm talking about me. So, because Prabhupada said we should, first clean ourselves, take care of ourselves, be hard on ourselves, and easy with others, soft with others. So, that is, but the spiritual body is nothing but pleasure. There's no envy. Never any envy anywhere. You see someone is doing something wonderful, you want to, I want to do something wonderful, I want to help, I want to serve that person. Genuinely. And every moment is fresh. It's always increasing, it's always better. It never diminishes, it never gets hackneyed or like a routine. It's always increasing in freshness and in excitement and in beauty and pleasure. The spiritual body is pleasure. The material body is misery. So here we are, Sukadeva Goswami is telling Maharaj Pariksit. Maharaj Pariksit has said to him, I'm on the threshold of death. What should I do? And in some places where, in the Bhagavatam, in a few places, Sukadeva tests him and says, well, maybe if you give in charity, do karma yoga. So Maharaj Pariksit says, I don't think that sounds like a good idea. Well, maybe you should become, study the Vedas. Brahma studied the Vedas 3 times. And he felt that wasn't sufficient. Brahma thought, I need to hear and chant about the glories of the Lord. And Maharaj Pariksit, Sukadeva Goswami says, yes, that's correct. The hearing and chanting of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His devotees. The Srimad Bhagavatam is mainly about His devotees. He does make appearances throughout, but it's all about those who are serving. He wants to glorify His devotees. The devotees want to glorify Him. It's reciprocal. It's all non-envious. It's all beautiful. There's no politics. There's politics when it's not, like the Mahabharata, it's full of politics. But Krishna's there to resolve those things and to show us that this material world is always going to be untranquil. It's going to be, the waters are not going to be calm. The only shelter is the lotus feet of our spiritual master, or the Supreme Personality of God, who the spiritual master represents. This, and in this age, the sound vibration of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we are faced with death. We know that. So what do? Are we like a rabbit? You know what a rabbit does when death is coming? Closes his eyes. Right. It's going to go away. Not going to happen. Or an ostrich puts his head in the sand.
Mythical.
Huh?
It is mythical.
Okay.
I think they
But a rabbit does.
look for food that way or something like that. But that's what he said.
Okay. So,
Sorry. But it's still a good story to
I like it. Go ahead.
they're famous for putting their heads in the sand. And as a matter of fact, it's actually been stated by people who are transcendentalists. That's what they do. So, so the point is that it's an example. And so if I am being chased by death, and death may be in, say, a tiger is chasing me, and I got a big backpack, it's got all the things I need, provisions, I put it in very carefully, spend a lot of money on getting some planted out, I'm carrying these things, but the tiger's chasing me, I got to cross a river. What do?
Dump the backpack.
You dump the luggage. So this morning, And it's interesting that the verse said about entertaining, because all of a sudden I started thinking about these songs from the 20s and the teens before World War I. One of them is, pack up
Your troubles and your old
kit bag and smile, smile, smile. You're on your way to World War I. No. We're on our way to Vaikuntha, we're on our way to Gokula. And pack up your troubles in your own kit bag and chant, chant, chant. And then the other one is, pack up your cares and woes. Here I go, chanting Haribol. Chant.
Bye bye, baby.
Yeah, well, no, one of them is, no, instead of kit bag, we say, pack up your troubles in your joppa bag and chant, chant, chant. And then the other one is, pack up your cares and woes. Here we go, Haribol, Gokula. That, you know.
It does say entertaining.
It's very, and you know, like in the Beatles had the song, boy, you're gonna carry that way a long time. We're carrying this huge weight of gross material energy. And we have to, now the yogis do it through a mechanical process. And they gradually are able to eliminate the material energies, and they merge them into the various other aspects of the material creation. And they become more and more refined, like a connoisseur. They experience such high, they even have a drink. It's called the soma juice, soma rasa. And by drinking that, it's not an intoxicant, and it's not sinful. It actually, by drinking the soma rasa, I just heard a lecture where Prabhupada is talking about it in 1966. These lectures in 1966, Prabhupada's energy is so intense. He's so much enthusiasm. Finally, he has someone to talk to. And he used to give classes to an empty room. He's saying that you drink the soma rasa, and it purifies you of sinful reaction. And you can live many, many long life, very blissful life in the mode of goodness. But it doesn't bring you to Vaikuntha. All of these processes, the mechanical processes, even Prabhupada says here, he's talking about the mechanical processes. We automatically start to think about their attempts by mechanical means to go to heavenly planets, but it also means the mechanical process of these other forms of yoga, or these other types of like jnana yoga, karma yoga, things of this nature. But the process that's recommended for this age is bhakti yoga by Satatam, what is it? Yes. Yes. I hear constantly hearing and chanting about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the association of other devotees by chanting the holy names. Harinama, 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 Eva, Eva. Hello, Nasteva, Nasteva, Gatiranyato. So pack up your troubles and your old japa bag and chant, chant, chant. And so there's other things to talk about, but it's kind of late and I have a doctor's appointment. Anyone have any questions or comments? Yes?
Prabhupada said that the yogis would travel from planet to planet on sunbeams.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, there was one. Go ahead, finish it.
On sunshine particles.
Right. I heard. Back in the early 70s, I heard a devotee who had just returned from Europe, and he told this story. And at first, I immediately accepted it, and then over the years, I kind of wondered if it was true. And then I heard it again, fairly recently. And the story goes, and I'd have to really research it to see, who else verifies this. But this devotee walks in to see Prabhupada, and Prabhupada's sitting behind his table, and there's a beam of sunshine coming through the window. And he says, Srila Prabhupada, are you busy? He said, no. I was just practicing riding the sun rays to the sun.
I was just practicing.
Riding the sun rays to the sun.
Very good.
It says that you go to the yogi goes to the sun planet, and it burns up by the fire. It burns up the outer more gross. Then you can slowly, and you can go like a tourist. I mean, like there are people that are, like these woofers that come here. They love to travel the world, going to organic gardens. And they'll like even tell you, well, I've been doing it now for 2 years, or I heard someone say he's doing it for 5 years now. And they go all these interesting places, like Jonathan, that fellow that was here. Now he's married, but so that'll probably slow down some of his travels. But he had talked about how he was doing a woofer thing in South America, and he didn't realize that it was also a cover story for marijuana. And this chopper started coming overhead, and there was gunfire and the whole thing. So there was some excitement. But there are people that just, that they used to call them loafers. They just like to travel the world. You meet each other in one of those, not a brothel, but it's called a hostel. Yeah, a hostel. And they'll brag about, how many years you been on the road? 2 years. Yeah, well, I've been doing 5. Yeah, 7 over here. They just want to travel. They want to see the world. If I come back from, say, some real beautiful place like Bali, I tell you all about it, and how tropical it is, and how beautiful it is. Everybody's going to want to go there. The beaches are beautiful. It plants a seed. You want to go travel. Well, these yogis, as tourists, they can travel from one heavenly region to another. And not just for a few years. We're talking millions, possibly billions of years. But it's a waste of time. It's a complete waste of time. So anyway, you can go by the sun rays, apparently. And that's the point. It's just so subtle. They're talking about, when we look at them with these big rockets blasting off, and then when it lands, it doesn't give off any dust. It just lands very peacefully, no dust. You don't see that's a little strange, since there's supposed to be so much thrust coming down. But they have all these huge spacesuits with big boots, and the yogis, they're like, subtly.
At the speed of mind.
At the speed of mind, yes. Anyone else? Yes?
So when we talk about mystic powers, and all these wonderful things that the yogis are able to do, why we don't try to acquire those powers so that we can spread Krishna consciousness better?
I'm glad you asked that question, because I was actually that was one of the things I was going to bring up. And, it is very tempting when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when I first heard about if you worship these different demigods, and everybody was saying, well, this is a waste of time, you should only be worshiping Krishna. And I was secretly thinking, I think they're being a little naive. I mean, what's the problem? I could worship a demigod on the side, and then I can help the movement, But first of all, it's kind of offensive to Krishna, because Krishna fulfills all the desires. But the mystic powers, you get those mystic powers. Just like, if you ever seen, I remember there was a devotee very early on that I knew when we were on 13th Street in Atlanta, and he just got this huge inheritance. And he was, I'm just going to go pick it up, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to get us a big, beautiful temple. We never saw him again.
Wow.
Never. We heard they had a really bad car accident with his Ferrari.
Hello.
But, those things, it's very tempting, but Maya's very good. She's very, and a lot of times also, I don't know about anybody else, but being a brahmachari, because, we're supposed to develop a higher taste. And it was easy to develop a higher taste in terms of being a vegetarian and giving up meat eating, because of the prasadam was so fantastic. It was easy not to think about intoxication when you're out on Harinam, chanting, and doing all these amazing, and in the temple like Brooklyn with all these incredible kirtaniyas. That was easy, but the sex life was always a little bit of a thing. So you're working on it, and you're trying to really get fixed up and everything, but then sometimes, and you really think you're really solid, and then all of a sudden, it's incredible what Maya can do. And sometimes you think, well, why? Why didn't this happen when I was a materialist, when I could do it? Now I can't do it. Yeah, you'd be put in situations like, yow. I mean, so mystic powers, if you have those mystic powers, yeah, it sounds like a great idea, but then you become, the nature of our conditioning is that we'll then think it's coming from us, or we'll like the adoration, subtle sex life, profit, fame, and adoration. That's subtle sex life. And unless you're actually 110% authentically pure, solid, fixed, and even then, why do you need it? Why did Prabhupada, he could have done those things. He was trying to show us. That is not because those temptations are there. I often think, well, what's the harm if I just have a couple of mystic powers? I could do something instead of, nothing, which is what I do, nothing.
That's not true.
Well, whatever, but I exist, I struggle.
Someone asked Srila Prabhupada, can you show some magic? And he says, yes, all these
Devotees, yeah,
right here.
yeah. That is my magic. Yes.
So what's wrong with, chasing a big inheritance and trying to run after a huge sum of money? I mean, we can use it, in Krishna's service. So what's wrong in running after that?
Well, there's the book that Cham Sundar Prabhu has written, Chasing Rhinoceros. Prabhupada always said, you go for the rhinoceros. And I remember that was the model during the In God We Trust days, when Balavanta Prabhu and Amarendra, they would run for the various offices. And we were always saying, we're going to go for the rhinoceros. If we don't hit it, fine. If we do hit it, wow, even all the better. But Prabhupada really was appreciative of the efforts, and there was tremendous exposure and tremendous preaching. I was so fortunate to be a part of that, and it was so exciting every day. You couldn't wait to get up and go do the next thing. We were rubbing shoulders with lieutenant governors, and getting coverage for everything we did, because we're the Hare Krishnas running for mayor. I mean, it was really incredible. But because of it, also there was contamination. It's not easy. You're rubbing shoulders with the biggest materialists, very successful, and you start to get affected by that. And Prabhupada said, right now, he wrote a letter to Balavanta. He said, right now your business is to make sure that everyone in your temple is following the 4 regular principles, coming to the morning and evening programs, to become first-class Brahmins. And maybe in the future. Then later, when Prabhupada did come in 1975 to Atlanta, there had been a discussion on the way to picking up Prabhupada with myself and Balavanta and Satyarup in the car, Satyarup Maharaj. And I was advocating, we asked Prabhupada if we could start doing it again. Satyarup was very strong, don't bother Prabhupada. And I was, being a real pissant, it's really being a jerk. I said, no. But I decided I'd keep quiet. And then, out of nowhere, Prabhupada, one morning in his room after breakfast, Balavanta was standing up, Prabhupada was sitting down, and he said, so you want to run again? You want to run for some office? And Balavanta said, I don't want to do anything if you're not enthusiastic. And then Prabhupada's answer was, I am always enthusiastic. But then he said, don't ask for any men or money. That was also part of the problem, is that you can't mix politics and religion. To have a non-profit religious organization, you can't advocate for one party or another, or one politician or another. If you do, you could lose your tax exemption status. But it was fantastic. I sat down talking to Andrew Young. You know who Andrew Young is? He was the U.S. Congressman for Atlanta. He was the person pointing, when over Martin Luther King's body, he's pointing to the motel and he became the ambassador to the UN. And when he was U.S. Congressman, Bhagavatam, this was after the mayor's race, we decided to run against him. And this was right before Prabhupada stopped the program, and because one of the sannyasis had a problem. And so I went in to see Andrew Young, and I said, Mr. Ogle is running against you for the congressman, and we need to get, I don't know, it was like 50,000 signatures. And we thought maybe I'd like to ask you, since we've had talks before and you seem favorable, would you please sign the petition so he can run against you? And he said, well, I was hoping that you'd support me. And I said, yeah, no, but don't, you know, come on, seriously, do you want to just go through some hackneyed, political campaign with empty slogans and no real debate or discussions of the issues, important issues? We know we can't defeat you, but we want to use this as a forum for real discussion of the real problems of life. And what is the real quality of a leader? He said, okay, I'll sign it. So I made he signed it, and I made copies so everyone who went out to collect signatures, right in the top it said Andrew Young, his signature. And then I said, see, even our opponent wants Mr. Ogle to run. And we got all of our signatures. And then Prabhupada said no. So you have a right to perform your duty, but you do not have a right to the results. And I found something very interesting. I was trying to remember where that is. It's actually the 2nd chapter, 47th verse. And I Googled it last night. I just thought, it's good. Maybe all of you know this, but I didn't know this. If you just write in, you have a right to perform your duties, but you don't have a right to the result. That's what I wrote. And then it comes up. The whole sheet is Bhagavad Gita as it is His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We own Google. We got it. There's no Maharishi Bhagavad Gita. It's all Prabhupada. Hari Bol. I really do have to go. I'm sorry. I have to. Thank you very much for your association.
Ego.